Yeah, but gold's limited in supply.
So is Bitcoin.
And it's been used. So you think so, huh?
I do.
I think there's a good chance that when we get to that 20 million Bitcoins,
they'll go to 42.
No, that Satoshi's going to come on there, laugh hysterically, go quiet, all Bitcoin's going to be erased.
Billionaire Jamie Dimon just gave his final prediction on Bitcoin.
This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
The reality of how he sees crypto evolving.
If you can't solve the bad use cases, the government's probably going to have to close it down.
And stick around to the end of today's video. I want to share this with you because this is info that Jamie Dimon does not want you to see.
I think it's a mistake to assume that everything's hunky-dory.
The CEO was first asked about the stock market. Like we saw in 2023, will 2024 continue to go up?
I think it's a mistake to assume that everything's hunky-dory. And, and when stock markets are up, it's kind of like this little drug we all feel. Like, it's just great, But remember, we've had so much fiscal and monetary stimulation, so I'm a little more on the cautious side, that we are facing a lot of things in 24 or 25. And we mentioned Ukraine, the terrorist activity in Israel, the Red Sea, quantitative tightening, which I still question if we understand exactly how that works. I don't think we do. How QE actually worked, what the effect of negative, zero rates was for all this time, and obviously the politics. And then the Ukrainian war is affecting oil, gas, food, migration. So you have all these very powerful forces that are going to be affecting us in 24 and 25.
Now, typically markets do well in election years, especially when the incumbent wants to remain in power. Jamie is still cautious, but then because of these 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs that are now trading, Jamie was asked, have you updated your opinion?
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This ETF was approved just about a week ago now, and I think a lot of people are trying to understand what it ultimately means.
Yeah.
JPMorgan, I imagine if you were a client of JPMorgan, you could call your broker and say, get me some of this ETF. Mm-hmm. What are you telling your brokers to tell them back when they make that call?
Yeah. So this is an important thing. This is the last time I've ever talked about this in CNBC. Okay. So help me God. Blockchain is real. It's a technology. We use it. It's going to move money. It's going to move data. It's efficient. We've been talking about that for 12 years too, and it's very small. Okay. So I think we've wasted too many words in that. Cryptocurrencies, there are two types. There's a cryptocurrency which might actually do something. Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and that we can use it to buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing things.
Tokenizing things that you do something with. And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that. And so on the Bitcoin, there's, first of all, and I'm not trying to make a joke here. There are use cases, AML, fraud, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, trafficking. Those are real use cases, and you see it being used for hundreds, maybe $50, $100 billion a year for that. That is the end use case. Everything else is people train among themselves. So
speculate.
Yeah. Now my last statement, the last time I ever talk about Bitcoin, is I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I think, it's okay. I don't want to tell you what to do. So my personal advice would be don't get involved.
Yet, personally and professionally, JPMorgan is involved. BlackRock names JPMorgan as their lead authorized participant for the spot Bitcoin ETF, meaning that he'll accelerate Bitcoin's adoption through being an AP for BlackRock. And also JPMorgan is using Ethereum as JPMorgan's JPM coin hits $1 billion in daily transactions. This is on Quorum, their private Ethereum-based blockchain, meaning pay attention to what they do, not just what they say.
What do you make of BlackRock? What do you make of the other firms, the BlackRocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously. Yeah. And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin or believed it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of there's about a dozen big financial companies, Fidelity included.
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this. And I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. And maybe that's not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions. This is the last time I'm ever going to state my opinion.
And then look at this. This is great pushback from CNBC host Joe Kernan.
Gold really didn't do anything either.
Yeah, but gold's limited in supply.
So is Bitcoin.
And it's been used. So you think so, huh?
I do.
I think there's a good chance that when we get to that 20 million Bitcoins,
they'll go to 42.
No, that Satoshi's going to come on there, laugh hysterically, go quiet, all Bitcoin's going to be erased.
I think, man.
How the hell do you know it's going to stop at 21? I've never met one person who told me they know for a fact. They take that
mathematically, it can't happen because by the last one will be mined in 2150, and it gets harder and harder every time there's another halving. But Jamie, looking back over,
you guys do what you want, I'll do what I want.
As for gold, you can the 6 characteristics that make gold valuable for 4,000 years. They're all present in Bitcoin. That's all I'm saying. I love you, and I don't want to. And I also don't want to be a.
Joe, you may be right.
Yeah.
Like I don't own gold either.
Now, obviously, Jamie loses credibility when he says something like one day Satoshi will come back and print more Bitcoin. Bro, it's 5 lines of code, and not even Satoshi can force us to change it. Meaning, if you use a bank, a centralized third party, you have to trust people. Bitcoin is trustless. It's open public code for all to see, for all to pick apart. And what Jamie doesn't realize is that governments aren't banning it. Governments are approving it. They're holding it. They want to make money off it.
I think there's another risk to Bitcoin. If you can't solve the bad use cases, the government's probably going to have to close it down. So that
the thing about the money laundering, you can look, here's the number was 20,000, I think, for U.S. dollars in money laundering, and it was 35 for how much is done with Bitcoin. So at this point, the dominant,
is
I know, but the dominant,
we know about.
Historically, the dominant currency for money laundering has been U.S.
I understand.
Okay.
Quickly, commercial real estate.
And this is even bigger. Howard Lutnick, billionaire, CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, insisted on talking about crypto. Click subscribe if you appreciate these updates.
And we should talk a little bit about crypto, too, before we finish.
Oh, well, let's squeeze it in. What would you like to say?
So, remember when gold ETFs started? They were very exciting in 2004, and it kind of stayed steady. There was all this hype that everyone was going to buy gold, and oh, come on. So I think Bitcoin ran up. It's kind of stay steady. But when the halving comes, it's going to start to rally and grow. So Bitcoin, I think, will grow. And there's a company that I like called Tether. It's a stable coin. And you know, I manage many of their assets. And Tether Holdings is the name of the group. And the group, I want to say it here with you, from what we've seen, and we did a lot of work, they have the money they say they had. In the last attestation, they said they had 86 billion of assets and 83 billion of liabilities. And I've seen a whole lot, and the firm has seen a whole lot, and they have the money. And so there's always been a lot of talk. Do they have it or not? So I'm with you guys saying we've seen it, and they have it.
Wow, backing Tether. And clearing up the FUD, saying the almost $1 trillion in market cap that Tether has printed, it's backed up, it's all there. And in altcoin news, Hello Labs unveils their distribution strategy for Killer Whale series. As you know, it's like a Shark Tank, but for Web3 projects. Here's me. And you can watch this on Hello Labs' newly introduced streaming platform, Hello TV, where starting from February 8th this year, viewers will have the exclusive opportunity to purchase each episode using the Hello token. The series will run for 5 consecutive weeks, with a new episode premiering each week. So that's the Web3 distribution release. And then following the Web 3.0 premiere, Killer Whales will then make a splash across mainstream streaming platforms from March 14th of this year. So watch it first through Web3, or it'll come out on more traditional streaming platforms in March. And also, Hello Labs plans to adorn Killer Whales on billboards in key locations such as Los Angeles, New York, and London. This was so much fun to make. I hope you watch. I hope you support us. And that is the video. Like always, see you tomorrow.